could keep us here forever if they wanted.
It's enough from you, Melcher. Right, everybody settles down right now.
Something's wrong.
Whatever it is, they're taking their time about it.
What's going on? What are they saying?
I think it's level 2.
All right.
I guess stay there now.
Can't be much longer.
You're right, you know.
I'm just a tourist.
Stagger. Something broken. What's he saying?
Level 2. He's coming this way around now.
What's he saying?
What was that?
What is that? It's nothing. Someone didn't load in. They are counting.
So they cut the power?
What do you think's happening?
It's 2. Something's wrong on 2. They're going too fast. I can't read it.
Everybody calm down!
Something's really wrong on 2.
You haven't got a clue what they are saying. Level 2, far side. Level 2. Are you all scrambled or something? It takes a week for one word to get all the way up here, and you're panicking about something that's happening on the other side of the building. How many hands does it take for one word to get through up here?
It's a long way, Kino, yes, but you've got to...
Stand in place, on program, feet down, face front, hands on heads. We will have immediate facility compliance or we will begin activating floors without warning. Bridges on program will have their doors open. All ships will proceed immediately to their stations.
What's going
Hey!
Can I move?
You can move now. What a great episode, man. Like I was feeling the tension and stuff throughout the episode and the different story points and stuff they're going on. But yeah, man, I just thought we'd be able to show that clip because I just wanted to get the goosebumps back. Like,
Well, you got demonetized on that one.
how you guys doing today? Welcome to Mr. Vern. Vern,
I'll be on mute
2 days to watch this show. We only made it this late so you could watch it. So I hope you watched it, buddy.
I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. What'd you think?
Not, but they're still in jail, man. We keep waiting for that jailbreak that we assume is going to happen. So, yeah, one more episode in this story arc. It looks like.
Yeah, I think next episode they might figure out a way out. There's some I was still confused. What exactly did happen on level 2? Like I know that like apparently everybody died, but why?
Well, spoiler alert.
Spoilers, by the way. Yeah, spoilers, by the way.
That was revealed at the very last scene of the show with that doctor. He asked the doctor, he's like, "Why do I got to watch my men?" And he's made the guy leave, like, "Go get me a body bag and a stretcher." The door closed, and he's like, someone from the 5th floor was released, and then he showed up on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
So everyone on the 2nd floor had a fucking riot because
and then they just
no one
killed
gets
them
freed.
all.
No one's getting freed. They're just getting moved to a different detention level.
Because they got
they just fried them all. They just killed everyone in that room or whatever.
So now that was basically it. That was the whole reason, because they basically rioted because they found out about that no one's actually getting released. Okay.
It took them 50 minutes to tell us that too. So like that.
Yeah, it was
throughout the episode.
But it was the first one, and they kind of played it as if it may have been an accident that they moved someone from 4 to 2 straight to 2. But I think I don't think it's 100% confirmed, but we saw like we have bigger context as to what's going on. It's clearly the Empire just recycling slave labor and whatnot. So it was very much intentional. They just didn't intend on people finding out.
Figuring it out. Yeah.
And remember from one of the earlier episodes too, when he was describing how the environment was, okay, there's like 7 people. There's seven people to a table. There's 7 tables to these rooms. There's 7 rooms to this level, and there's 7 levels, and then whatever more than that. So it sounded like the whole 7th level got fried. So that would be, 7 rooms of 7, groups
The
of 7
second
people.
second level.
So that's
the second
hundreds,
level,
and
yeah.
that's a few hundred people, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
yeah. It was. It
or-
was. Yeah,
It was just one room.
They said level. What happened on the second level?
It sounded to me like I thought it was like hundreds of people. Also,
Yeah,
that's
I
why
think it was major.
Yeah,
And
They made it sound though that it was just 100 people that they fried, and it's 50 people per room. It's seven tables of 7 per room plus the like one floor manager. So they made it sound like it was the day shift and the night shift for the same room.
Okay,
that got
okay.
fried, not the
I get
entire level.
Yeah.
Vern, I think it means that they've left. Like, we're done with this. We're going to
they're not
East
voting on
McDonald's now.
It means they're not voting on that issue at all. So they left.
So-
And you notice they showed
Hail the Empire in the background.
They showed the center. They showed the center console, and there was nobody in it. So there's no one even representing the Emperor when they have these sessions.
Yeah.
So they don't. He doesn't even have a representative sitting in the middle. There's just nobody there. You know.
Yeah.
People couldn't be bothered listening to that. Yeah.
Welcome, Mr. B and Mr. Blue Harvest Toys. Hopefully, I think Mark's liking this show now. Like he likes his, James Bond and his action movies. I think so.
Well, earlier he said he couldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I think him and even Ghosty was having.
I don't know why though. I love it. I've
problems with it. I don't think he was loving it as much as we were making it.
I've watched. I mean, I watched this episode twice, and earlier, what happened was I watched this episode once, and then I think I was asking Rick, like, when are we coming on to talk about it? And he told me we're not going to come on until Thursday. So then I ended up watching. I was like, I started to watch it a second time, but then I went, no, I kind of want to watch the previous episode and lead it into this.
Good point.
And what ended up happening was I went all the way back to the beginning and watched the whole series again.
You did, yeah.
Oh wow!
Just back to back. I just binged the whole thing again.
Yeah,
That's
good
commendable.
point. Watching it, if this is a 3-episode arc, this prison arc,
Yeah.
where Andor has a lot of great one-liners. There's a lot of, I've written down some of my favorite one-liners in Star Wars, like in history, and they came from, some of them came from this episode. Yeah, throughout, I think I'm gonna rewatch. I have rewatched all these shows twice so far, none more than 2. Second time, I kind of took some notes and
now I'm on
took some
3
screenshots and whatnot. But
I'm
yeah,
on 3
there's
or
some
4
really good lines in this show, and I think it's now confirmed that this is my favorite show cinemagraphically. Like, I think they've done a hell of a job with whoever's in charge. If it's the same person every episode, I have a feeling it is. The director of photography might be the same person. I could be wrong, but that's why I'm really liking this show right now.
Yeah.
I'm
Welcome. Who else we got? Hey, Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Hey.
I've watched
Mark
them all,
likes your shirt, and he wants you to send him one in a
2 to 3
extra
times.
large. Hey,
This one.
so I do
really-
have a little slideshow. I did get some screens.
This one really floats good. You know how like when you put the wheels out and it has that little floaty mechanism?
Okay, so we got to end by 4:30 today for the points for articulation, so we can't have
Oh yeah.
lots of story time.
I'm
Even though
distracting you.
You can see these beautiful
I know. Look at all 3 boxes. Look
vintage
at that.
Kenner toys that I'm
Goodness.
kind of going through and see what I got. Anyone new?
You've
here?
been holding out on us, Rick. You got all this great stuff that's not on display, right?
No, it's all in my bedroom, hidden beside everything. Welcome, White Shadow.
White Shadow.
ET turned off his light. He didn't vote.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, one rumor I kind of heard today watching some of the other Star Wars YouTubers is this actress kind of signed on for a multi-year making Star Wars content deal, and whether the rumors are
she did the actress. You mean?
This actress. So
Okay.
it kind of confirms she's in Andor season 2 in a way.
So
Not to give up spoilers, but I don't think she's going to die in this season, and maybe they got something else planned for her or some other characters within this Andor verse. You never know, man. Just something I saw today on.
She's Dr. Afra's mom.
Hey, Dr. Afra, they'd be stupid. I don't want to say, but they'd be silly. They'd be damn silly if they didn't make a Dr. Afra live action show with those
I know.
killer droids.
Yeah.
Mandalorian starts, I think, end of January.
Is it
February.
really
It's
Good
February, right?
February?
Because
I thought
they
it was
got Bad Batch.
December.
Well, they got Bad Batch in January is I think the next thing, and then they're probably not going to overlap Bad Batch with Mandalorian, and then Ahsoka will come probably in May.
And I think someone found out there might be an animated Grogu show on Disney Plus in the next week or two.
Wasn't Bad Batch supposed to start in November? And
I think they're still drawing it.
It was supposed to be a lot sooner this year, but they delayed it to January.
All right.
Okay, so welcome, Jonathan. Jonathan's still awake. There we go. So we start off with, what I'm assuming is the third time this character has had her ass whooped.
Yeah.
And the first time,
she's been doing
second time on
show.
screen. But we already know she's been whooped once and maybe even whooped twice if they're the same whooping or not. And we see how much of a real badass Deidre is. And yeah, man, she turned it on this episode with her badassness. And I'm liking her now. And I'm liking less, even though they want us to like more, the Val character, who we learn has a cousin named Mon Mothma.
Yeah, that was a good connection. I thought that was neat.
But what did you think of this interrogation and how ruthless she's kind of going to be, this character? Like,
oh yeah.
Well, it really
no
sets
soft
the
spots.
She really set the stage and basically saying it's clear, like Bix said, your ISB, like the worst of the worst, but Miro was basically saying, like, my peers tend to cast a wide net and just hope something pans out. She was basically saying, I'm much more surgical and methodical about things. You're not bullshitting me. I'm going to get to the bottom of things. And it was definitely like sinister and kind of menacing.
Totally, man. Like almost every scene in this episode, she comes off as the most badass character like that's ever been on a TV screen before. Like I'm kind of really getting those vibes that are almost more evil than we've seen in previous villains in the Star Wars universe. So I'm very interested to see where her character goes and whether there's a love arc with her character.
I don't know. Hopefully she doesn't end up in a body bag because with her body under Cyril's mom's kitchen table or something later on.
Man, like Cyril.
She doesn't
Cyril
like
laying it
Cyril.
on thick later in the episode.
He's like a stalker, and she doesn't want to put up with it.
Not like a stalker. I mean, that's like exactly what women.
He admitted he was stalking her.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that scene because
He's lucky she didn't shoot him. He's lucky she didn't just shoot him.
But
yeah, now I honestly want her action figure now. Like I didn't want it 24 hours ago. I wasn't, I want a Deidre action figure, but now I totally can't hide this freaking StreamYard crap. I want her action figure. I like her. She's badass.
My question is if they didn't have to do so much tooling, like to have 500 points of articulation,
they don't.
Series,
all they gotta do is ahead because they got the same figure for
or like a 3 3/4 inch vintage collection. If they just made a 5 POA retro version of
only
couldn't they do 20 figures from you know what I mean? For the same cost as tooling one 50 POA figure,
Deidre will be in the retro collection. There you go. But for the Black Series, there's that female, I can't remember the names now, it's so long ago. The female character that died, she was in an Imperial disguise. And that, Tala, yeah, so there is a figure of her coming out. So they just kind of repurpose and, whatever. It can be done. It's not the most expensive figure they've had to make. They tend to make new Star Wars figure on very often. That's different than Marvel Legends where they reuse as much as they can. But yeah, she's badass, man. I look forward to seeing. Man, she needs a black cape and a helmet. She's getting to that point where she's evil. Someone should recruit her.
But that Dr. Gorst was creepy. Like
He was very creepy, eh?
He was just like happy. Like
Yeah.
he was just like super pleasant about everything. And
we got some quick junctions between the interrogation and then to the jail. Then we're going right back to the interrogation. I think in the next picture, like they went back and forth those two storylines.
That's right.
Pretty quick, like a couple lines of dialogue. Boom, they went back. So we start seeing that the old fella here, he's not doing too well. Like he's
they let you know early in the
like by the
episode
minute.
they let you know early in the episode what's about to happen.
Welcome, Mr. Joey. Good to see you here, buddy. Hope you see
Hey,
spoiling it.
Joey.
Jonathan wants to fight John.
The
Yeah, she's definitely coming to the Black Series. She'll come in all the series, and Vern. If not, Vern will have a custom done by 4:30. Vern, right? Vern's on it. So back to the prison cells, we see they're kind of talking a little bit about maybe not being last and maybe tasting some food. The other table is missing a guy, and they were saying how he's usually replaced right away, and he hasn't been replaced yet. So he's making small talk, but he's trying to get Andy Serkis' character, on board and having some communication with him, when before it was shut up, just listen. But so we're getting a little bit more communication with his character, and it wasn't easy. It took to the final scene of this episode for Andy to kind of kick in and kind of listen, right?
But he definitely established a soft spot for Olaf here because he was the next man out.
Mr. Rum, how you doing? I don't have any music going. We're okay with no music.
No, you had, instead of Rick has got a brand new theory.
Oh, I got more theories, man. I got to spread out.
You went with a different. You went with different music. That wasn't Rum's music.
Just the jazz bass.
Yeah.
That's what he noticed. Oh.
Yes.
Did I? I'll have to check it out again. I got a couple more theories, but so yeah, I just kind of got out of this scene. They're just trying to communicate a little more because that Andor wants to break the frick out, and he needs someone on his side. Like he really doesn't have anyone.
No, he's got two guys. He's already converted Melshi, which we know from Rogue One, and then he converted the black guy that was guarding the door when he went to look and get the thing. Remember?
Yeah.
He went around to try and
from another table.
Cutting.
Yeah.
And that guy was guarding the door in case someone came by to see him. But then they did a lockdown or whatever because they were bringing in someone new, right? Is that what it was?
Hello. Yeah. Well, but we did see someone new come in, but it was like a day later. But I think that's what happened.
But you see,
that was a doctor.
You see in this sequence, like Cassian's shifting and shuffling things around for the table.
He's looking at when a guy's walking by, and
he's compensating for Olaf and trying to help things out and move people around. But he's giving credit to the guy who's like questioning him almost, and Cassian's starting to exhibit like leadership traits and whatnot. So it's really setting himself up to like grow into like a leadership role.
So what I learned on the interweb over the past couple of days is that this actor, the elderly guy here, let's call him elderly, the guy that's not Andy Serkis, was in Batman, and he was the guy that Batman held up by his neck, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Batman." So he's in like one of the most famous pop culture movie scenes of all time, and I don't know his name sadly, but I will learn it. I promise you that. Rest in peace to this character, as we will find out soon if he doesn't make it through the episode. So then we got the latest actor in the psycho horror universe is this creepy guy. I took the creepiest screenshot of him I could.
It's like the Vecna character from Stranger Things season 4.
If they make him as an action figure, I quit action figures. That means they want us to all become weird freaks of nature. Because this guy was freaking sick. He was talking about, we tried it once and it didn't go so well.
It was a bit chaotic.
It's just like, dude, she's gonna freak out and have a heart attack before you even do whatever you're gonna do, like, because she was already freaking out before he did anything. Like turned on, I think it was Beats by Dre that she was wearing, kind of thing. But
well, it almost looked like a precursor to the Lobot stuff, but with headphones.
It did come around the back a little more.
It was a Lobot thing.
It could have actually been, modified Beats by Dre with just a couple of LED lights on top. Because, do you think this hurt? Were they playing like the latest Mariah Carey Christmas jingle again, or
absolutely?
What sound or
it was the
torture technique?
Children dying. It was like they modified the sounds of children of that one race,
of that alien race dying.
But they amplified it.
Isn't that just sickening?
Yeah, that's really messed up. But I for sure thought that they were going to bring out
dude.
I for sure thought that they were going to bring out like an earlier prototype version of the interrogator droid.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because we've seen Han Solo get tortured, and it looks like a bunch of needles in his back on a board.
Yeah.
Princess Leia with the round interrogation droid with the actual hypodermic needle that comes out, and so that's the Star Wars torture we kind of know of. Really, like I'm sure the Emperor could have forcefully pulled fingernails out or something, like if he so wanted to. But so this looked like it hurt. And she's got her ass kicked again, and we, boom, back to the prison again. Andor's talking about the railing, how it doesn't fry you if you're on the railing, and maybe the elevator can get stuck halfway. Like he's thinking about all these different things in scenarios with other people. Like you were saying, he does have at least 2 other guys now.
Yeah, that's the guy standing next to him who was guarding the door.
Thinking about breaking out, right? So it's interesting.
But when he's in the refresher trying to saw into that conduit, what do you think the wires in that conduit control? The floor or something else?
Well, I think somehow they're all going to be hanging on railings at some time in the future.
Well, no, see the bottom railing. You could put your feet on that bottom railing.
Yeah, you walk on the railings or something, right?
Yeah, because those bottom rails are right where your feet are. You know what I mean? So instead of standing on the platform, you would just stand on that bottom rail.
I think he mentioned something.
And the realistic thing is
nothing that moves can fry you.
And the other thing is,
so maybe that elevator thing, if you're standing on that ground, then you can't be fried, and that's why they use the sticky stick.
Well,
a sticky stick when he's walking on the thing earlier.
It was the first time I noticed that they put rails at foot level. Why would you ever, if you have a railing like in our real world, we don't put a railing at foot level.
No, so it wouldn't wrap around like that. They've added an extra foot there.
Yeah,
there's a function to this set design. Yeah.
Yeah, because later on when they have the prison break, they're going to use
good eye, John. Like, because now, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. They're going to tippy toe on that metal railing on the outside.
Yeah, they're going to use the design of this thing to help escape. Because
quite interesting. I totally see that coming.
Oh, we have naked ladies in the chat now.
Oh, welcome! Please subscribe to Super John's channel. Can you do anything from here? Block user.
A hot girl here.
I have many mods. They should remove. Block. All right, back to the show. So then we get evil Deidre. Like she looks a lot less attractive when she's being evil with this Dr. Mindbender guy.
Yeah, but, she's like a vampire with her teeth all rotten.
Very creepy. Very creepy. Did we learn anything in this scene? I don't think so.
She was just asking when the last time that was after she was fried.
Oh, she talked about when
was the last time you saw Cassian? Right.
This guy, fuck this guy too. He's like, I want to hang that other guy just to show him the boss. Yeah. And she's like, fine, fill your boots. And I'm like, fuck this guy. Don't make his action figure either, Hasbro. That would be.
They would have back in the Kenner days. Kenner would have made all these action figures. And if this was during the Clone Wars,
I dislike this guy so much. I hope he doesn't get another minute of screen time in his show, and he's like fired from all future Hollywood productions, and now goes and works at Starbucks.
It's not the actor's fault.
It is, man. He could have turned this role down. Who wants to play a dick?
Space Nazi.
Like just to rub it in a little bit more, right? Like
I would play any role in Star Wars that you gave me. I don't care what it is. I'll play Bor Gullet. I'll wear slimy tentacle arms and be like, ugh.
So yeah, that guy. Yeah, then we see again like the cinematography in this. There's a lot of good starting shots and ending shots with a lot of these scenes. We think we just visit the Senate once here. She's kind of going all. It seems to me like she's going all out now. Like, oh, we can't stand for this. It's going to turn into this kind of tyranny. And I don't know if she used that word or not, but
yeah, it was
we
like
just hear people in the background like, "Hail the Empire!" Like
it was like
they're not on board with her. She's not getting support.
It was like Jimmy Carter's speech against the military-industrial complex back in the.
I guess
that nobody listened to, and now we live in.
There was one pod that came forward and supported her. I believe only one. Yeah. I didn't write it down, but the so-and-sos from
She Speaks the
so-and-so
Truth
land supported them.
Yeah, someone yelled out, "She speaks the truth." She was saying the PORD is the next step on an all too predictable march toward complete unchallenged authority, which of course is true, but
word for word is exactly what's happening. And it's weird that none of these people are falling for it in a way, right? Or they are all falling for it. They're all being suckered in.
They're being suckered in.
So now we're back to prison show, and so this episode for me, Andy Serkis could win an award. Like I think he I don't know if say out acted. He acted really freaking well in this episode, man. He had a couple of great scenes. This is one of them. Where I think he word for word tells the guy like
he just doesn't like Melshi.
Well, he's
something about Melshi
right? Like
specifically.
He wants to be in charge of his men and everything, leads a happy life, and he gets to go home in 28 days or whatever he thinks is going on, right? But what do you ask the guy? How many hands does it take to get through one word to you? Like, so how long is it taking for this rumor to get to you? They mentioned that it's 7 days away by the time that rumor gets here. So yeah, that's interesting to know too, that if their communication's taking this long, the communication they got with that doctor at the end of the episode might have been quite current then. So maybe it's not taking as long as they once thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, the rumor mill goes faster than they think, but I think what he means by that is he's just trying to get them to shut up, because if they cause it must be that even in these lineups, when they're waiting to go back into either back into where they work or back where they sleep, if there's too much of a ruckus, too much talking, or too much people out of line, the Empire will come in and beat everybody. And because he's in charge, we don't know what his punishment would be. And he's only, like he keeps saying, I've only got 200 and some days left.
He wants to get out,
or shifts left, 200 and some shifts left. So it's like he's at a point where he's just like, I just want you guys to shut up, everything to go smoothly. I'm out of here in 200 shifts. Please let me get this, you know what I mean? So his only concern is to get out. So he's basically trying to, the way he's trying to get them to shut up is to just by saying, you don't know what's going on. It's a rumor. You know what I mean? So just, there's no reason to even be talking about it, basically.
But I think he did outstanding in this scene. Like, whether it'd be interesting.
He is a really good actor. Yeah,
he is a really good actor. It's a shame that a lot of the time we've seen him hidden behind CGI and makeup or whatnot. But he's freaking talented, man. And I really starting to appreciate this character in the show, because we know he's gonna be joining, the escape kind of thing by the end of the episode. He's on board, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's because he still trusts this system and whatnot. But it was cool. He also, for those of us that like to learn more Star Wars lingo and whatnot, he introduced a new saying for like the equivalent of like, "Are you crazy?" or "daft" or whatever. He said, "Are you all scrambled?" So in the Star Wars universe, that's a common saying. Like, "Are you scrambled?"
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying his character now, and I think we're gonna, see something pretty special for him in episodes or two to come. Wonder if he makes it in the long run or season 2 or whatnot. But yeah, as they're just talking about in the chat, we get to see how much of a dickhead her dad is. She mentions Mon Mothma says, "Oh, that's wonderful. I wonder if maybe you'll be allowed to wear it." And she's like, "Oh, Dad will let me do anything." So just that dynamic of that family is just gone, right? Like she does not like her mom, but I got just for
Rick has got a crazy theory. Rick has got a crazy.
I think maybe Mon Mothma and this lady here, what's her name?
Val.
Val
Val,
might have shared a blanket at some time in the past. That's what I'm thinking.
They're
You know what I'm
cousins.
saying?
They're cousins. No.
Yeah, but, are they cousins, or is that
Yeah.
Cousins. Yeah.
secret code word for because they're also rebel sympathizers? Like they're
Well, that's why she brought the daughter a gift, because they're family.
it's just something. I just played that music for Bob. But yeah, we learn, of course, that Val is a cousin of Mon Mothma here. So how important is that, you think, to this story now?
I loved that Mon was like, "Why don't you just play the spoiled rich girl for a little while?" And
and she dresses up pretty good.
Wait till things calm down,
just to lay low and not draw attention, right?
Which is interesting. We saw her kind of dressed up a couple episodes ago when she met with Kalea in the dark alley there, but we didn't really clue in, that she's going to be on the show again as a dressed up rich bitch kind of thing, right? So interesting. I think we're going to see how important this is, that they're actually have a relationship as cousins, not just rebellion talk, right?
Well, the other thing I think
it is all rebellion talk. That's all they talked about.
The other thing I think is really good about this show, and it goes to the costume design and the hair and makeup crew, where like when we saw Clea out in Coruscant talking to her, like I didn't realize it was her right away. The same girl from the shop.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then you've got Lothan, or whatever the heck his name is, the guy who runs the shop. When he's wearing a wig when he's in that shop. You know what I mean? And when he was out getting Andor, recruiting him for the mission, like he totally looked different. You know what I mean? And now we've got Vel here doing the same thing. When she was on mission, she looked like this hardened, badass soldier. And now she's the prim and proper princess, like rich girl, spoiled rich girl. And it's believable in every aspect of these characters. So
it's because they set it up last week.
Yeah, it's a really good. But I think it's really good the way the costume, the way the and the makeup and hair are really changing the actor to fit you know what I mean? Like you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Oh,
it's like
totally, man, totally. Like it's like we've seen
so
Andor
good,
with and without a beard, and it's relevant in this episode too, as they bring it up. The one time he was clean shaven. Oh, the guards were all clean shaven that robbed the heist.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of times.
Except they haven't caught on that he's right under their frickin' doorstep right now.
A lot of times in shows, it's like people's hair is the same. Their hair and makeup is the same in every scene. They might change their shirt, but it's like they're pretty much the same the whole time. Whereas this show, they've really been dynamic with the characters and changing the way they look.
I do like. Haven't noticed it much as the prison guys. Like they're not just all of these prisoners. And even the Imperial officers and people that we've seen and stuff, they're not just Joe average looking actors. Some of them have a certain aspect to them where they, I'm not going to say look alien or in any way, but I like the retro hairstyles when you see a guy who's got extra sideburns and the hair is maybe a little more 70s style than what we would think would be modern day. But even like the looks of some of the people without changing their race, like they're original looking people, some of these characters, including Deidre and Serial character, Andy Serkis. Like these are all genuinely they're all quite different looking actors, and I like if they're not going to have all these aliens and robots that I want to see. It's interesting that we do get to see these different, not races, but different looks in these characters because it brings a certain aspect, like this guy.
Yeah, like that guy. Look at his hair, man. That's so 70s. But it fits with the, with what we know were the movies,
And I got to do.
Left coast is the best coast.
That's instead of my theory logo, but okay, this guy with the wicked hair, he's a rebel spy. Just saying. I've watched all the Andor trailers. He's in one of the Andor trailers in civilian clothes in an elevator. So why is that important to anything at all? But yeah, he's just some guy.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there, man. There's another theory for you. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Jonathan.
I think
here we get a little bit of they're learning stuff like we just kind of talked about, and or shaves at one time, and the people who robbed the heist were all clean shaven, so they're putting two and two together.
I also liked how they kind of like she leaves and goes back to work, and they're just kind of like, "What do we do now?" And he goes, "Get to work, move it."
Yeah, the guy is like, "Chop.
Come on,
what are you waiting for?
Yeah,
what are we waiting for?" Yeah, just to think that someone had to write that, like it's freaking. There's some talented people out there, man. And then here, this came out of nowhere. Snoke's just outright punches this freaking dude in the gut for saying something. Like, first time we've seen violence.
It's like Eric said, he doesn't like Melshi.
He's snapped at Melshi several times now. For one reason or another, he does not like Melshi, and I think it's because Melshi is the one that's just more vocal and disillusioned with even the prison system, and he's the one that poses the most risk.
This is totally fake hair. It's all disguise. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I think
going back to that ISB scene before, one of the more important things that it set up there was they were intentionally kind of just monitoring but staying back from Marva to use her as bait.
Bait to come see Andor again. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but because they do go back and forth with these scenes so much, but they do mention about catching a rebel spy or a rebel pilot.
That's right, a rebel pilot. Yeah.
And then later in the meeting, they talk about what they're going to kind of do with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this surprised me. Like, oof, shut up and stay in line or stay on board or whatever their terminology is. But throughout this too, Andor's just scoping the stuff out. He's looking at things on the floor and looking at railings and whatever he's got to look for. Right, he's checking stuff out.
But this is when they find out from the night shift on this room in level 2 they're on, right? They're on level 5. That level 2 that one room on level 2 got fried. So they said both shifts 100 men were killed.
Yeah. So it's and you can see how like he's getting worried. Like he's like, what the frick, man? And by the end of the episode, he's worried as frick, and he's got good reason because they're not planning on letting any of these people go anytime soon. Another great revisit to the kitchen with Cyril and his mom.
These scenes with the mom are nuts.
But he seems so like 14. The dynamic with him and his mom is so like, oh, you were in my room, Mom. You looked in my secret box. But she like, played your bed and
she played the guilt trip, and then she couldn't be more proud and happy when he said he got the promotion and whatnot. I'm thinking of like my relationship with my mom, and I'm like, oh brother, this really rings home.
Yeah, I did like how someone earlier said cereal keeps eating cereal.
That's awesome.
Like,
I'm surprised you can't buy it at the Disney store yet. Like
I know, right?
Or whatever.
They made the macarons from the Mandalorian. They're gonna make the cereal.
You're right. They
sure.
made all the cookies.
But, they're gonna do that. But it's funny how like you see later on he in order to just drown out the noise of his mom just bitching and moaning, he just starts slurping the cereal just to drown out like all.
You mean like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And
Yeah.
again, someone wrote that, and I thoroughly enjoyed that scene, even though we've seen this kitchen like maybe 3 times already now in different episodes, and now he's telling his mom is like, you know, you got to get your shit straight, and I'm doing all this for you, do your laundry and iron your clothes, and he's like, yeah, I got a raise, or I not got a raise, I got a promotion. So now she's all on the bandwagon again, right? Oh, your uncle's gonna be so proud. So be interesting. We do learn who his uncle is.
I want a little cereal dispenser like that. Where can I get that little cereal dispenser box?
Yeah, he's got a secret box with Deidre.
Pictures?
Deidre's name all over it.
I'm thinking hair and
Space
yeah,
porn.
yeah.
Like,
Space porn.
He kept her
like
he kept her fingernail clipping. He kept her
Cereal's
fingernail
a
clipping.
grown up boy, I think. And oh yeah, there's this dick. He had a great line though. He's like, I didn't write this down, but
I love that they're eggs, like the old English egg cup that they would crack.
But he's kind of like, you know, oh, you got to find yourself a good man, and she's like, yeah, not on my list of priorities right now. And he's like, you're getting a little old. So and then she has that look with Mon Mothma, kind of like it's so that's why I thought, you know what, they shared a blanket in the past.
No,
or she knows she shares blankets with other women.
What happened?
Why that matters, I don't know, but it does.
What I caught on
matter.
was like Perrin was telling Vel like all the good ones are too old. You'll have to get like a widower, right? Because all the good ones of any value are gone. And,
well, he doesn't know she likes girls.
But right, she doesn't, or Perrin doesn't know that. But then he's talking about Tay Colma, her old boyfriend, and saying like emphasizing old.
Yeah.
But Vel snapped back and
she snapped right back.
Yeah. So
not on my
Mon
Mothma
was basically just giving a you know, a little smirk, like laughing in the corner of her mouth.
Dick. And then, you know, the cousin's like, oh, what kind of response you got to him saying you haven't got a man yet?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting that maybe it's, I don't know why I get a weird, like even a touching here and stuff. Like I don't touch my cousin. You're not allowed to touch your cousins as far as in Canada. I don't think.
I don't know.
Maybe you can in Kentucky or I don't know, or not Alderaan. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So weird. Her accent seemed a little different too, Val, here. So I don't know if that was just me or the environment she's in, where she's not, you know, stressed and running with a gun, but and angry. She just sounded a little different, and obviously she looked, you know, a lot more glamorous and whatnot, right?
Yeah. She's definitely dressed for the part, but
yeah, interesting. It's
but like
I wonder why they need to be related in this storyline. Like it's kind of me, but again, the cinematography, like I took this shot. This was I thought of this and they put it in a show, and I get no credit for this kind of stuff.
The set's really cool. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Jeebus.
One of the cool things about that dinner scene though was like how they're positioning Perrin as the type of guy that's like, he was like, oh, all the like at least you haven't gone political or whatever. All the like political people are so tedious, and they're basically I almost feel like, you know how like She-Hulk, for those of you who watch it, kind of like made fun of all the like misogynists out there. They're kind of pinning Perrin as like the typical, like the stereotypical like almost Star Wars fan that says like Star Wars shouldn't be political, don't be political, that's boring and uninteresting, and like, oh, I'm a misogynist as well.
Yeah. Didn't Jerry Lee Lewis also marry his like 12-year-old cousin?
Second 13-year-old cousin.
13? Oh,
second
legal age
third,
that
no,
state?
It was like second. It was like a second or third cousin or something.
Rest in
still
peace,
still
Mr.
messed
Jerry
up.
Lewis, sir.
Yes, still messed up though. Yeah.
Oh, I just got word. We have a short commercial from our sponsor here.
New from Left Coast Graphics, the Enamelian Falcon spaceship pin. Collect them all.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Left Coast Graphics.
Beautiful.
Looks awesome.
Mom, can I get one?
And then we got Mr. Stalker Boy. We get now, and I actually really dug this, man. The tension was already built throughout the
Aren't
the
you supposed to
episode
be at work?
with the prison shit, and more or less just with the prison shit. It was building all the tension in the episode, and then this scene happened, and freaking all the hairs, like it was a serious freaking scene. Like this guy's I don't even know how I'm wording it. Like he's almost going all out and saying like he loves her and shit.
I'd
right?
never
like,
lie to you.
Professing his love.
I want what you want.
Well, he said one of the best lines that I think Star Wars has had yet, and it's in my name right now. And he's like, if I feel nothing else, I feel there is justice and beauty in the galaxy. And I'm like, that's George Lucas kind of material, man. Like that's serious stuff for someone to say in Star Wars, and for it to be this little character, from the, being a paperboy or whatever, working his way up to now he's hitting on this higher rank, ISB, lady. And
he's gone off the deep end. He's drinking too much.
But it's going to work, man. He's going to watch 2 episodes from now. He's already got another promotion, and maybe he's sharing a blanket with her and stuff. Right. Like,
I don't know. I
totally, they're totally going to have a relationship, but she also is the bitchiest woman I've ever seen in Star Wars. And why would anyone want to have a relationship with someone who talks to you like that? But they're totally gonna have a relationship, man. It's totally happening.
But even though she's a supervisor in the ISB and like an intimidating person with like some real power, she's still a woman. And like this is like perfect commentary for the real world and the type of like fucked up shit women have to deal with like in the real world.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Don't be like Cyril.
In the 70s and 80s, in the Imperial side, we did see several woman leaders, throughout the rebellion and stuff, and the main heroes of the show too, right? But it's very cool to see like this Imperial side of stuff to a detail where like we did see family, and now we're seeing maybe a relationship and whatnot. That we kind of never really saw before. And just to change the subject a little bit, the cartoon that just came out, the Tales of the Jedi, they would be silly if they didn't make a Tales of the Sith and tell a couple of stories about whoever, all the Sith side of people when they're younger too. So just throwing that out there. I'm sure it would go over well, since that went over well with all the youngins.
Who would you have? Maul and the Emperor.
Bane.
That's it.
You could do Bane and
killed in 8 seconds.
Plagueis. You could introduce Plagueis and
welcome, Duff Man. But yeah, badass. She's basically saying, don't ever, follow me or look at me or whatever again, because he's admitting that I am stalking you. I know you work here. I've been watching you and checking you out. And she's like, like I don't like men or whatever her reason. Maybe she doesn't like men.
See, I thought it was a very strange interchange, because I was like
he was
I guess
like
I was questioning. I was
life or death.
I was like, is he really trying to convey that he's falling for her? Like
he said, you feel how I feel about things.
But is that
a relationship? But I mean, like about
what was that? Just
power
because
and leadership,
the emperor, like
the
the
empire
and stuff. Like that's kind of what I was. So it was a very strange way to put across. Like, I want to get Andor. Like I was like, why doesn't he just come out and be like, listen, I want to take Andor down. You want to take Andor down. Let's work together and do
14.
this.
Like,
why
he's not 14, but he's very immature, right? He's very immature, and even how he's going about this is quite immature. It's very high school like, or
he's definitely like mixing up his feelings for like wanting to go after Andor with like personifying that into like, oh, Dedra is the like personification of like justice, and
she's the new emperor, if you ask me, man.
And she's like, oh, this guy's all sorts of crazy town.
I don't know. I think he's really crushing on her, man. Like he was very passionate. Like you could just see,
Oh, yeah.
like the actor himself. We've seen these several scenes with his mom, and none of them do I see veins like in his forehead and shit. Right? Like
Oh, yeah.
he's tense. Like he's I'm living for this. Like he kind of said something like, I live for like defeating Andor or whatever. Like
this guy's
buddy. And he says the beauty thing, right? The justice and beauty.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment to her at the same time.
Yeah, it was a very weird interchange, though.
Just a great line. I thought that was a fantastic line. Maybe better than "I'm just a tourist." Such a great line.
He's oozing like nutty incel energy. Let's just put it that way.
I'm just a tourist.
Like so far, that's the best line in the show.
I'm just a tourist.
But now, like we got new lines, right? But I'm digging it, man. So we got Grand Moff Tarkin lookalike guy here mentions they caught a rebel pilot, and I think Jonathan mentioned in the chat it was maybe from one of those factions that Saw was. It
was
not wanting to work with, right? So I didn't hear a name.
They say it later
in the system or something, but
rest
in peace to that pilot. I think I'm pretty sure they didn't make it to the end of this episode.
It was the pilot was a member of Anto Krieger's group. Anto Krieger was they mentioned in when Luthen met with Saw in the last episode. Yeah. He was the guy he was the former separatist that Saw didn't want to work with. And
now that's not the same name that her old classmate here is telling her, because he's basically telling her, they're gonna figure out your bank account shit, and you gotta get a loan. So now he's trying to convince her to get a loan from someone she kind of doesn't trust or know. I didn't get that name, but is
Davos
that one of these factions?
No, that was an independent, like scummy, wealthy
crime syndicate or something.
Well, I don't think it was that big. It just seemed like the local upper class, like con man in Chandrilla that had like upper class connections, but did like back channel like dirty loans and whatnot.
Yeah, he's definitely got his nose very far up her butt, but I don't think he likes girls. The Grand Moff Tarkin lookalike guy. Not that matters.
Oh, the assistant. Well, he's
cool
at
character.
least
He's a cool character. I like the look of him. He's like, again, he's not as handsome as you were, John there, but I mean, he's unique. He's whether it's his cheekbones or
he's got
the hairstyle. Yeah. These guys have just unique looks, and I freaking love it, man. Because
but he was at
least in the original Star Wars too.
But he was at least showing initiative and whatnot, sending the interrogator off to that ISD to interrogate the pilot without getting or waiting for Dedra's permission. He already knew what needed to be done, unlike those other jamokes in the supervisors that were like.
So that's kind of all I got out of this scene with this character. It was him just kind of convince her, they're going to check your books and stuff. So you're going to have to make a deposit and you got to get a loan. And looks like you're going to have to get a loan from, the black market kind of thing, right?
Scuzzy guy on Chandrilla. Yeah.
And then finally, we find out he has a massive stroke.
Yep.
Too bad. Like he someone has to die in the show, but it happened. And because of that, we get this doctor guy comes on the level. And again, Andor is noticing things like railings and elevators and, different ways for the escape plan and what they can use, I guess, right? He's got the sticky stick. We haven't seen a gun inside their room yet, but I think we've seen guns in the hallway outside of the room. I'm not sure, but I think they mentioned
a couple of
guns per level or something.
Yeah, there's somewhere in there, but the guards don't normally carry them because they don't need to.
They don't, yeah.
So I do recognize this actor, but I don't recognize him enough to put a name to him. Maybe someone in the chat recognized him, like saying, "Oh, he's Doctor Who" or someone.
I didn't look
I don't
him up on
recognize him,
IMDb, but I can.
yeah, so he does a couple of space tests, and this guy's had a stroke, and they're like, his name is,
Don't care.
it doesn't matter what his name is, right? Because he probably does this 10 times a day for all we know, like, put people out of their misery kind of thing. So yeah, he kind of gives him some medicine and puts him to sleep kind of thing, painlessly.
It puts him down like a dog.
Yeah, because you can see he's not very responsive at all anyway before the lethal injection. And he kind of Andy Serkis's character gets kind of getting in his face now, like, what do you mean get a hold of my men? Like, what, you said that twice now, like, what do you mean watch my men? And then he waits, he gets the guy to go out of the room to fetch a body bag before he kind of reveals to him what happened on that level 2. Something about someone on level 4 got released. They thought there were 3. They ended up on level 2. The word spread a little bit throughout that level, and they all got fried. And it sounds like maybe hundreds of people got fried on that level 2, in a rioting incident.
So I just looked up this guy. The actor's name is Adrian Rollins. I guess he's from Stoke. But
okay.
The interesting thing, like, he's been in a ton of stuff. Not everything I recognize, but his main role that I think people would recognize him from, he played Harry Potter's dad.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's where I get it. Not
so that's
not
probably where most of us would recognize him from. But yeah.
By the way, the boots that the Imperials are wearing are made by Burton, and they're snowboarding boots that you
I'm
can
in
buy.
one Facebook group that's like the parts of Star Wars.
Yeah,
there's like 20 things that come up the Wednesday after Andor, and it's actually just cool to see, man, because I love space props and movie props. I was watching the stupid prop auction today. Jesus Murphy, man, I don't think anything sold for less than $40,000. Like,
right?
Yeah. It goes on for 4 more days. So if you got a chance to check that out during the daytime on YouTube or their website, freaking amazing. Some of the most amazing movie props and things you've ever seen are being sold at auction in the next 4 days. Blow you away, man. Some of these things.
Yeah, they're made by Burton. So
yeah, this is how the episode ends here. Again, some really good lines in this show. No one is listening. Andor yells in the prison cell when he's trying to communicate with Serkis, and he ends up yelling it really loud, like, and for everyone else is kind of listening to him. They really are. You can see them kind of peeking and see what they're talking about, but he means the Empire is not listening.
He's trying to make a point. He's trying to make a point that
scene as well. Yeah,
they don't have CCTV or anything.
Yeah, when they're in their basically like apartment in their rest chain, their jail cell or whatever, like, he's like, why would they be listening to us? What if they don't concern us? They don't think we're worth anything. They don't think there's any chance we could ever escape. They don't think there's anything that we could do.
We're cheaper than droids, he mentions. Like, we're easier to replace and stuff like that. And finally, like, the Andy Serkis guy, the group leader, is cluing in, and it was pretty neat to see at the end of the episode. So I do want to kind of run this one to a close, so we don't overlap with the geeks of the POA, points of articulation.
Yeah,
show that's going on at 4:30. So again, my favorite my favorite line was Mr. Cyril talking about space or beauty and justice. I just thought that was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's any girl should be at his knees for talking like that kind of thing. I thought it was a brilliant line. How about you guys? Did you have a favorite scene or line from this episode?
I like the one that was right before. Well, I like this scene, but probably a little more so the one before with the ISB conference, when they're basically setting up the stage for
sabotage, right?
Ensnaring and luring them in that Anto Krieger's group into a trap.
Yeah,
so
and they mentioned
was like, I'm going to go
rebel pilot,
military intelligence. Yeah,
that they've already tortured. They sent the doctor to that planet to go. I've already done it. He's already been tortured. So now they're going to
stage everything.
Yes, make it look staged that he died in another way. So it's not real sketchy, but
I thought it was kind of James Bond-esque.
It was, man. It was very cool, very spy movie,
military
Dr.
intelligence,
Evil kind of shit, right?
They're just gonna let his ship just drift into the space lanes and get picked up by someone else, right?
I'm also loving Andor so much. I'm really impressed with it.
That's got to lead into that scene in the trailers when you see Luthen's ship getting chased by those TIE bombers, and
you say that every week. You say that's going to lead to the every week. It's something's going to lead to that. Yeah. I mean, it has to eventually.
At some point.
We saw it in the trailer.
So, but this might have been one of my favorite episodes so far. I liked some of the scenes. I really like the Deidre character now. She's just so badass, and she needs a robe. Give her a white robe next episode, please. When she walks up with those death troopers, I just need to see her do some more badassery. So yeah, I'm going to play another clip here as we head out, and please everyone head over to, I think it's on Geek Strong's channel. Points of Articulation, where those guys are going to whip out their Galacticuses and play with those. So we're going to roll out with another cool clip.
How many guards on each level?
Never more than 12.
Tension, man.
I love how that set him off, because it's clearly that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Kino. He's like, if they're clearly not going to let any of us out, I have like 200 whatever days. Fuck these people.
Yeah. And fuck her husband, man. Mon Mothma's husband. He sucks balls, man.
Yeah.
Get him off the show. And that stupid guy who wants to hang that guy just to show who's boss, man. Yeah. So
you'll see that guy when they go to Ferrix, I'm sure. But yeah.
Stay awesome,
catch you later.
Go Andor.
New from Left Coast Graphics, the Enamelian Falcon spaceship pin. Collect them all